All right, so now comes the point where we're actually dressing up the car and making it look great, putting it back together. I've just, with great labor and pain, stripped all the grease and oil off the engine, washed it, and now have primed it, and we'll get ready to paint it red. Normally these engines actually originally were all red from the factory, including the starter and the generator and everything, which looks kind of goofy, I think. So I'm just going to paint the core part of it red and the accessories black, which I think makes it pop a little more. Maybe it's not killer original for somebody who's really into that, but I think it'll look better when the other parts are good looking, and the fan is originally yellow. So all this will make the engine bay look a little better. Good thing is I've now taken everything off the car, basically, and when we put it back together we know it'll be right. We hope. Motor's now red, and I got more parts in from Moss Motors, and it's always exciting for me, and I think for anybody when you're starting to open parts boxes. I got some super cool high-grade silicone gaskets for the rocker cover and the side covers of the engine, which are actually not like the cork originals, but they're improved, like space age silicone, which they probably would have been from the start if they had had space age silicone in the 60s. Also, I had the radiator gone through, pressure tested, cleaned, and repainted. The radiator guy said it was great, and big exciting moment. I spent maybe a little too much money and extra. It's $400, which is actually a crazy deal for a full. I love this opening the box part. It's always like Christmas, you know. A full polished stainless steel exhaust system, front to back, new hangers the whole way. But the thing I really want to get at is the manifold. This has a tubular manifold all the way down. Again, it's not original for the car, but it'll look badass and sound great. It'll also increase the ground clearance of the car a little bit. It's one of the problems with MGBs is that the center muffler is pretty low. There's the muffler there. Oh, here's the manifold here. Let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, it's going to be that attached to that. It's going to look awesome. So here's a lesson in old technology. These are the side covers that cover the rods for the rockers up and the MGB engine, and the seal for the covers is made out of cork, which was pretty high tech in the 1920s and was still considered current tech in the 60s. And this cork obviously dries out and gets leaky, and that's why British cars leak shit. And then some people take terrible measures into their own hands and use like this, silicone sealant to put stuff on engines, which is just terrible. What's available now is proper space age technology, silicone that'll outlast the life of the car. And even though I'm trying not to spend too much money on this car and make money on it, I have a problem that I can't do things without doing them right. So once the engine's out and once you can see these side covers, because normally they're underneath the manifold, you're like, all right, let's just do it. So another $30 for these gaskets, but it's right. It'll be right. Okay, now I'm getting a little bit pleased with myself because the engine's just about ready to go back in the car. I'm just going to put the gearbox on it, and it looks like that. That not only is a nice looking and good running MGB engine, but it's going to look great to any potential purchasers when it's in this hole, which I also cleaned up and painted. And it's just it's going to make the car more saleable. Also, we've got evidence that we put on a new water pump. We've got the Moss spin-on oil filter conversion. Got new ring gear, new AP clutch. Look at that chrome header. It's going to be awesome. It's exciting. It's coming together. All right, now for the moment of truth, try to start it. We got everything installed here. Got all the ignition stuff, the painted engine's in place, the fan shroud, look at that, new hoses, new clamps, new oil cooler, new lines, new pretty much everything. And in here, we've got the painted dashboard, and I've got just the choke and the temperature gauges set up there. Filled it with oil, good old-fashioned dinosaur oil, not synthetic. These engines, I think, prefer the dinosaur oil. And just topped up the coolant and timed it as best I could. And here we go. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to have to put you there. Hope you don't fall over. All right.